in there. I mean, she made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with JJ LaSelva. The Hacker Ryan Green with you as we embark on a new week. It will obviously be a short week for us here on the radio. In fact, for myself, I'm with you tonight, and then I'm not with you again until Friday, Christmas Eve and the Christmas holiday. So we are taking Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off, but we will recap the Raider game tonight. We will look ahead to the Tennessee game. We'll obviously spend some time on the Florida Gators as their season came to an end last Friday with a win in Tampa over Tulane. And look, the bottom line is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Florida Gators both have not had the years that we wanted, but the Gators ended on a positive note, winning 4 games in a row. The Jaguars are not ending on a positive note. That is what happens when you go to Las Vegas and you lose to a team that came in on a 10-game losing streak. That's what the Raiders were on. They had lost 10 in a row prior to yesterday, but the Jaguars cured that with Aiden O'Connell and the Las Vegas Raiders getting a 19-14 victory over your beloved Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to start there. We're going to have a little Monday night coaching tonight with Campo, my friend Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Truth be told, the head coach is on a holiday vacation with his family. I wasn't going to bother him this week, but then yesterday in watching the game, I received like 5 or 6 text messages from the head coach. He was not happy at what he was watching. So I said, hey, you just want to come on and discuss it? He said, absolutely. So we're going to have the head coach on, a little Monday night coaching with Campo. That comes up in less than 15 minutes. Also, Zach Goodall of Jaguars Wire, which is part of USA Today, will join us in the 7 o'clock hour, again, to look at the Jaguars and take a look big picture. Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson, what it's going to look like here in Jacksonville, because keep in mind, 2 weeks from today is the term used as Black Monday in the National Football League, and what will that mean here for the Jacksonville Jaguars? We'll also spend some time on some college football coming up in just a bit. College football playoff round 1 is in the rearview mirror. It was less than overwhelming, that's for sure. A little underwhelming, and that's a mild statement. So we'll talk about that, and we'll certainly put a bow on the Florida Gators season with that win in Tampa over Tulane on Friday afternoon. So we're glad you're with us on a Monday on a holiday week here on Hacker After Dark. Every night here on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And JJ LaSelva, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Mission accomplished for the second week in a row. Now, my criteria going into the Las Vegas game was I wanted the young guys to perform well. I wanted to be entertained for the 3-hour period of the game. And ultimately, if the Raiders won the game late in the fourth quarter, it would not bother me very much. Well, there were quite a few check marks in those columns. The young guys did perform well, primarily Brian Thomas Jr., Mason Smith had his best game as a Jaguar. Parker Washington did some nice things. Even though there was a fumble, Tank Bigsby also scored a touchdown. Young guys, for the most part, played pretty well. I don't think I was entertained, not nearly what I was against the Jets. There were parts of yesterday's game that kind of felt like a preseason game. I was talking to Little Hack about it, really breaking down the game with my 5-year-old, the X's and O's of the matchup. He was really interested by that. And it was like, this was like an August game, right? It did feel like the preseason. But it was a regular season game, obviously. It counted. And so the entertainment aspect was not necessarily there. But at the end of the day, mission accomplished because the Jaguars lost the game. Look, I make no bones about this. You're better off losing right now. I mean, no question. Positive momentum going into the offseason. There's no such thing at 3-12. I don't care. You win this week against Tennessee, you beat Indianapolis. No one's going to remember that in April, May, and June. You know what they're going to know about? They're going to know about your draft positioning in late April. And the only way you're going to get a high draft pick and a good draft pick is if you continue to lose games. So from that standpoint, I was fine with the loss yesterday. And I was also fine because Brian Thomas Jr. looked terrific. Now over 1,000 yards receiving. Brian Thomas Jr., by the way, is in rarefied air. I want to say, going back to the Super Bowl era, I think I saw this, only Randy Moss of NFL wide receivers in the Super Bowl era has more 60-plus yard receiving games where you also had a touchdown in those games, right? At least 60 yards receiving in a game and at least one touchdown in each game. Only Randy Moss in the Super Bowl era has more of those games than Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. has 7 of those games his rookie year. He's got 1,088 yards. He's got 73 catches. He's got 9 touchdowns. The guy right now is arguably a top 10 wide receiver in the league. Certainly top 20, probably top 15. He's a stud. And he is the one shining star amidst this nightmare that has been the 2024 Jacksonville Jaguars. Players can say all the right things. Coaches can say all the right things. But as the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. They can say they haven't given up and they're still fighting and they're not going to quit and they're still battling and they want to win these games. That all sounds good, right? Certainly it does. But then you watch that game in Las Vegas yesterday. Tank Bigsby fumbles the ball. Brenton Strange fumbles the ball. Mac Jones misses open guys down the field. Eric Armstead did something yesterday that I don't think I've ever seen, and I mean this. I don't think I've ever seen a guy line up twice offsides on back-to-back plays. That's amazing, right? You line up offsides on one play, all right, fair enough. But then literally the very next play, you line up offsides again. That's good stuff, man. I mean, I again, in decades of watching the NFL, I don't know if I've ever seen that. And it's for good measure. Joshua Hines-Allen lined up offsides. And the very next play after that, Trayvon Walker was in the neutral zone. So you had 4 offside penalties on your defensive line yesterday. Mentally, I get it, man. You're awful. Nobody cares about these games nationally. There isn't one iota of people talking about anything revolving around the Raiders and the Jaguars on any show outside of Jacksonville and probably Las Vegas. Look, the season cannot possibly get over soon enough. It has been a nightmare. It has been arguably the most disappointing season in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I go back to the whole mantra of losing being a good thing. It's a really good thing this week. And we'll get more into this later on tonight and certainly on Friday's show. But think about Tennessee coming in here on Sunday. Boy, what a battle that'll be. Combined records of 6-24. Are you kidding me? But Tennessee needs a quarterback. They've benched Will Levis. And if you beat Tennessee on Sunday, you arguably hand them either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. If Tennessee beats you on Sunday, that helps your draft stock, and you probably keep Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward away from your division rival. Just food for thought. Again, I know the players are going to want to win and the coaches are going to want to win, but I'm talking to you, the Jaguar fan base. Do you want to win this game on Sunday against the Titans? Because there is no question you're much better off in many aspects if the Jaguars do lose. And to be honest with you, I don't really know if it's a question if they're going to lose or not. Because I watch this offense now with Mac Jones. I mean, say what you will about the Titans, at least they score. I mean, they put 30 yesterday on Indianapolis. Jacksonville's not putting 30 on anybody with the way this offense is going. 14 points yesterday against an atrocious Raider defense that was out without their best player in Max Crosby. They put 10 points on the same Titans team that they beat a couple of weeks ago. Tennessee only scored 6 because Will Levis missed some open guys. It's a bad product right now. It's a bad situation. The season cannot end soon enough. And then the questions, Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke, what's going to happen with them? And I would imagine 2 weeks from tonight, right, we will have some clarity, right? We should know something 14 days from today when Black Monday arrives in the National Football League. So we'll certainly talk more about the Jaguars and the Titans. We'll kind of look around the NFL at what happened yesterday, some really interesting outcomes, including a great game between Washington and Philadelphia. Really good game last night. We were doing the fifth quarter last night with Tampa Bay and Dallas. Boy, a bad loss for the Bucs. Dallas wins the game. Now Tampa Bay is going to have to fight, scratch, and claw to get in, with Atlanta currently leading the NFC South. So it was a fun day in the NFL. It was, I wouldn't call it a fun afternoon for the Jaguars, but a good loss. How about that for Jacksonville? And how about Las Vegas, right? I guess you celebrate a win, but that win took them from picking in the top 2 to picking at number 6. One meaningless win in December has the Raiders now out of the quarterback conversation, at least the Shedeur Sanders conversation. And if the draft were today, they'd be picking 6th. So I don't know how much they're celebrating that win in Las Vegas, because that really did hurt their draft stock come late April. But we're going to talk about all of it with a guy that's spent decades in the National Football League as a position coach, a coordinator, and as, of course, a former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. My buddy Dave Campo, you hear him all over the 1010XL airwaves, including weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Let's review the Raider game. Let's briefly preview Tennessee, but let's talk big picture. Brian Thomas Jr.'s season, Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson. I think Dave Campo's kind of changed his tone on that a little bit. I'll have him explain that to you. Again, the coach is on vacation. I wasn't going to bother him, but at the end of the day, coach is coach, right? And he sent me enough text messages yesterday where I knew he was pretty fired up about what he was watching. So I said, hey, do you just want to come on and join me? He said, absolutely. So here we go. A little Monday night coaching with Campo. Dave Campo joins me next on a Monday evening in Jacksonville, Florida, kicking off a holiday week right here. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Sometimes winning and losing comes down to one play. There's only one performance-painting, high-performance play of the game on 1010XL.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you're looking for jewelry this holiday season, we have what you want at Underwoods, and we carry the hottest and best names you'll find anywhere in North Florida. The biggest name in designer jewelry is David Yurman, and his looks are more popular today than they were years ago when Underwoods introduced this designer to Jacksonville. And we carry David Yurman not just in ladies' jewelry, but also in timepieces in his extensive collection of men's jewelry. If it's a watch you're looking for, we carry Rolex and other watches considered to be the best in their price points. We also carry extensive collections of the jewelry we import directly from Italy and Spain that are always popular for their quality, style, and value. So if you want the hottest and most popular jewelry and want to be waited on by the most professional jewelry staff in the business, stop by Underwoods.
Underwoods, where customers are served with quality and respect. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra. Underwood Jewelers.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Hank Bigsby, with his game so bright, led the Jaguars sleigh into the end zone and an early lead. Thanks to a 6-play sequence capped off by a Bigsby 1-yard score, Jacksonville would take an early 7-0 lead with 1:32 left in the quarter. The 29-yard drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey, John, are you a small business owner looking to make the most of your investments?
Absolutely. And now is the time to take advantage of some incredible tax deductions.
You can qualify for a 2024 tax deduction for up to 60% of the purchase price of a brand new Cadillac.
Think Escalade, Lyric, Optic XT5, and XT6.
We have over 100 in stock at Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. It's the perfect time to upgrade your business fleet.
This is not tax advice. Consult with your tax advisor for further details and to determine eligibility, plus tax tag title 899 admin fee and resist all and approved credit.
Get ready to celebrate December with Best Bet. We're giving away an incredible $660,000 in cash and prizes. Kickstart your holiday fun in Jacksonville with amazing promotions like the 12 Days of Christmas High Hands and $500 High Hand Fridays. At Best Bet Orange Park and St. Augustine, don't miss out on thrilling tournaments and $300 every 15 minutes table game giveaways. For all the details, head over to bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
1010XL is the home of Gator Nation and the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I'm Hacker, and we keep you connected with the University of Florida all year long. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
The holidays are here, and so is your entire family.
Uh-oh, the toilet's not flushing.
And now the kitchen sink's clogged too?
There's water coming from the ceiling. It's raining in the living room.
Don't let this be your holiday disaster. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get those plumbing issues fixed before family time turns into flood time. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans come up this Sunday, the regular season home finale for the Jaguars, and what a stimulating game this ought to be. Combined records of 6-24 when the 3-12 Titans visit the 3-12 Jaguars. Let's preview that game. Let's look back to yesterday's loss to the Las Vegas Raiders and everything else surrounding this Jaguar football team with my buddy Dave Campo. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. Truth be told, the coach is on a little holiday vacation, but he's a good guy, so he joins me here briefly to talk a little Jaguars. Coach, appreciate you, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. Obviously, I've had a foot get over yesterday's ball game. So, enjoying the Christmas spirit out here in Arkansas, and Merry Christmas to you as well and your family.
Well, same to you, Coach, and we appreciate you joining us. I wasn't going to bother you this week, but after I got about the 7th text message from the coach yesterday, I'm like, all right, he's watching the game. He knows what's going on. Coach, not to get too in-depth on our text conversation, but needless to say, you were not exactly thrilled with what you saw yesterday in Las Vegas.
Well, unfortunately, you got two football teams. I'll tell you, there were some good plays made. The problem is the turnovers and the penalties. And, when you see a lot of penalties, you just say, oh, my goodness, these guys really focused in. And then, that they busted a coverage that allowed Thomas to get that big touchdown play. It just wasn't a well-oiled ball game. And that's what bothers me more than anything else. But it is the end of the season, and neither team had anywhere going. But I don't think it was effort. I think it was more just the focus issue.
You've been in the NFL for decades. I've never seen it. I'm curious if you have. Eric Armstead lined up offsides on back-to-back plays. Coach, I've never seen that. Have you?
Yeah. No. I mean, in 2 plays in a row, that's kind of hard to do. And then Trayvon Walker right after it. So, again, you can look at some of it and say, hey, it's where it's at right now with this football team. And I've heard you say many times, you look at how Brian Thomas played and you say, well, it was a good day.
Yeah, look, that was the thing. Brian Thomas played well. Parker Washington was kind of under the radar, I guess, because everybody's focusing on BTJ. But I thought Parker Washington had a good game. And I got to tell you, Coach, I want to get back to the offense, but I want to focus on your side of the ball. Mason Smith, no question, his best game as a Jaguar yesterday.
Absolutely. And, fortunately, there was enough on the television. And, of course, I haven't gotten to the 22 yet. It's just where I see the whole field. But there were enough replays on certain plays where I was able to watch him from the end zone. Really, he took on blocks and stayed, in his gap and made some really good plays, came off of blocks. That was good to see. So, I'm pleased with that. And I think, again, some of those defensive linemen, it's all of a sudden they're in the fray against pretty good offensive linemen, and it takes them a little while to get going.
I mean, this season, again, the head coach Dave Campo here with us, this season, at least for the last couple of weeks and certainly for the last 2 games, is going to be all about Brian Thomas Jr. and his development. Over 100 yards yesterday, a touchdown. He now has well over 1,000 yards receiving. Heck, I think he has 1,088 yards receiving, 9 touchdowns. He's in rarefied air to have a rookie season of over 1,000 yards and 9 receiving touchdowns. Just your overall thoughts on Brian Thomas and what you saw yesterday.
Well, I think there's only 5 of them or so that have that combination as a rookie. And, you're talking about some guys that have a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. So, to me, he's shown that he can be a quality receiver in this league. And he's the closest thing to a number 1 that we've seen in a while. He's got a ways to go, which is okay. He just needs as many reps as he can get. And, and I think it's going to come down to how much he's willing to beat some double teams and they scheme some things to get him open going forward. But overall, I'm really pleased with him. I think he'll make some difficult catches that he hasn't made. He's missed a few. And I think that comes with experience and knowing that you have to fight for everything you get in the NFL.
I talk about under the radar, Parker Washington. No one's really talking about him, but he had 6 grabs for, I believe, 50-some-odd yards as well yesterday. Parker Washington continues to play well in Christian Kirk's absence. And, again, we talk about this seemingly every week. The more you see from Parker, does that leave Christian Kirk's future here in Jacksonville in question?
Well, again, we've talked about the fact that in the past that you don't know exactly what the contract situation is with Kirk. I would say he's shown that he has the ability to develop and be a decent slot receiver. I'm not sure that he's Kirk right now, but Kirk's been hurt 2 years in a row. And so, that can make a difference in whether or not you keep a guy or do you go into next year and you kind of split some time with those guys. I'm not quite sure, but the thing that's positive about it is the kid can catch the ball. He's capable of some run after catch stuff. So I think that's a positive.
Coach, as we look big picture here before we talk about the Tennessee game on Sunday, a couple of things came out of yesterday, and I know you're on vacation, so I don't know if you've seen this or not. Andrew Wingard in the postgame locker room yesterday, and I thought Dewey had a pretty good game, to be honest with you, when he was given the opportunity. And that's the key point, given the opportunity. Wingard was talking to the media after the game, our own Mia O'Brien, I believe Brent Martineau, Gene Fournette, some other assorted media that were up there in Las Vegas. And basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but Dewey's like, well, you see what happens when I'm out there. And he was asked, well, have you had any limitations with the knee? Are you on a pitch count? No, they're just not playing me. And then he goes in depth and says, well, I'm a starter in this league. You see what happens when I'm out there. And then he was asked about the lining up off sides. Are people, because the season's coming to an end, is lack of focus. And he basically said, well, I don't know about lack of focus. We've been seeing that sort of stuff all year. Dewey is brutally honest. Go back to his thoughts on Urban Meyer to tell you that. What do you make of Dewey kind of speaking out yesterday a little bit?
Well, I think he's one of the guys that you want to have on your ball club no matter what. He's proven that as far as his special teams play. And to be honest with you, before he got hurt, he was one of the guys that was making plays in training camp and preseason. So for me, I like the guy because I think he's one of the guys that's very, very serious about he approaches his work. And he did make plays in that game. There's no question that he's one of those guys that you look at and you say, well, you know what, athletically, he's not quite what you're looking for. But I'll tell you what, our safety play has been atrocious this year, in my opinion. And I think it showed when he got out on the field. And I think that's one of the things that you have to give him credit for. He doesn't pull any punches. He thinks he should be playing, and he probably should be playing.
Monday night coaching with Campo. All right, before we get into Tennessee, let's get into kind of the big picture. As you can imagine, the talk coming out of yesterday, we had a lot of it on the fifth quarter. It's what you would anticipate, the futures of Trent Baalke, the futures of Doug Peterson. Here's my message to Jaguar fans, all right? It was very apparent to me, Coach, after nothing happened, after that fiasco in Detroit, that nothing was going to happen till the end of the year. I don't really understand what Shad Khan would gain by firing guys with now 2 games to go in the season. So just because something hasn't happened yet, I wouldn't panic, I guess is the wrong word, but you know what I mean if you're a Jaguar fan. And we'll see basically 2 weeks from today, right? But to me, Shad Khan didn't become a billionaire by not being unbelievably smart and unbelievably good at business. And when you lose 17 out of 21 games, which is what the Jaguars have lost, and you have been consistently losing year after year after year with what's been happening here, again, Shad Khan is a smart businessman, and I would have to think that changes are coming. We just don't necessarily know the extent of the changes.
Well, I'm leading that direction now. I've been one of the ones during the course of this season to where, I made the comment that owners don't like to really, if they're really, paying attention, they don't like to make decisions in the middle of the season because there's still games left. And to me, I think to be honest with you, I think that's the way to go. They could certainly, even if they were going to make some changes at the end of the year, they could be looking into that right now. But I believe that I'm starting to lean towards, I don't know how you can go that long without, seeing some of the things that are going on without making a decision to, basically move on. And the only thing that holds me back is that, they did go 9-8 2 years in a row. And a lot of guys were talking about that last night with the Cowboy game, with the situation with their head coach, where he's been 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. And now, they're talking about firing a guy. Well, there's only so many guys out there, and I think you have to be careful. So I'm leaning towards him making a decision there, but we won't know, like you said, for 2 weeks.
You've been a head coach in this league. You certainly know the lay of the land better than almost anybody that I've ever talked to when it comes to the inner workings of the NFL. If they keep Baalke and fire Peterson, how much will that limit their head coaching pool? Because you got to find somebody that wants to work with Baalke, right? Talk about that dynamic of a GM and a head coach. They want to come in unison, right? Coaches don't want to be told, all right, this is going to be your general manager.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%. I think if they do make a change, I really believe it'll be both of the guys. However, I don't know who Nishad Khan knows and who he would be leaning on and making decisions on who the next one is in both cases. That I don't know. But I know, having worked in Dallas as a head coach, and don't get me wrong, Hack, I love Jerry Jones. But the working relationship there was not, that was one where there's no way I could turn the job down when I was offered it. But those two people have to be on the same page for it to be successful. Very seldom do you see a situation, and that's why guys like Jimmy Johnson and some of these guys, Parcells, and some of these guys have said, I want to, if I'm gonna, serve the meal, I want to be part of the cooking. And that's why those people have to be on the same page. And I'm not sure these two are on the same page. So to me, I think it would be in the best interest if they were going to make a change to make it with both.
All right, Coach, leave us with this. Home finale, 3-12 Jaguars, 3-12 Titans. I mean, look, the reality is, I get it. Players are going to want to win. Coaches are going to want to win on both organizations. Now that we've contractually obligated to say that, the loser of this game is going to be much better off in April. Tennessee is going to replace Will Levis, it looks like. And if Tennessee were to lose out, that probably means either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. And look, I'm not saying they're going to be Andrew Luck, but this is kind of a similar situation what Jacksonville was in during the Luck sweepstakes. Indianapolis was in here for the last game of the year. Jacksonville beat them, basically handing them Andrew Luck. If Jacksonville beats Tennessee on Sunday, that might basically hand them either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. So from a fan aspect, I know you want to beat the Titans, and I get it, but if there's ever a game to lose, it would be this one, because a Tennessee win would help Jacksonville's draft stock and would probably cost the Titans potentially a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you from that standpoint if you're strictly looking at the draft going forward. And obviously at this point right now, again, I've been one to say, okay, who knows that they can't win 5 in a row when it was 5 games left. Well, there's only 2 games left now. Now I think you have to look at it from the standpoint that it would be in the best interest for us to get the best draft pick. Not only because we would pick that pick necessarily, but because someone would be wanting to move up one way or another, and it might keep, someone else from in your division from benefiting. So, again, I think, that's a likely situation, possibly. And I would not necessarily be upset with that when you look long term.
The head coach, Dave Campo. Coach, I know you're on vacation. Thank you so much for taking time out. Enjoy the holidays with your family. We certainly appreciate you, pal, and we'll talk to you when you get back to Jacksonville.
You bet. Merry Christmas to you and the family. And like I say all the time, Forrest has got to be excited. Make him even more excited with Santa Claus coming in there.
That's right. He's all fired up. Thank you so much, Coach.
Okay, Hack. I'll talk to you. Have a good one.
Let's go. Game day gets here a little quicker with Pregame Friday.
Here we go.
Who's in? Who's out? Who's on upset watch?
Exactly.
We'll get you ready for the games.
All right, you ready?
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. The new year is approaching. If you've heard me talk about Awaken 180, if you've seen photos of me, if you've watched the stream in the last couple of months compared to what I looked like back in February or March, you know that I've lost over 100 pounds on this program, from 317 to 205 in this calendar year. And it's all thanks to the best weight loss program I've ever been on. Guys, now is the time, right? Now is the time. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken180weightloss.com. If you've been thinking about it, well, Hacker did it. That's the point. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I failed on so many weight loss programs. I didn't fail with Awaken 180 because they're the best out there. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. They can change your life. I know this because they've changed mine. Trust me. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Get the latest on the Gators from one of the greatest Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
Chris Doring joins Dan and Jeff on the drill Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
Christmas is a great time to show loved ones you're thinking about them, and no better way than a beautiful piece of jewelry from Golden Diamonds Direct. They've been in business on the First Coast for 40 years. In fact, this is their 40th Christmas, putting something special under the tree for that special someone. Drop on by Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Plantation Publix Plaza and see what an incredible selection of great gift ideas they have, making this giving season memorable. Golden Diamonds Direct on Racetrack Road in the Publix Plantation Plaza.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
You scaled the sheer cliff face, battling frostbite, running low on oxygen. The wind pierced your skin, and every inch was agony. You reached heights no other human had before, while getting nowhere at airport security. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover best-selling action titles on Audible.
This season, check out our revamped website at southernsteerbutcher.com. Click on the Promotions tab and our Jacksonville weekly grilling specials will hit you in the face like a hot route over the middle.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Prosser here. When it comes time to sell your home or you're thinking about selling your home, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't you really love a guaranteed no-hassle home sale? But you don't want to give up hard-earned equity to do it? Guess what? You can with Chad and Sandy. If you want to sell your home soon or immediately after the holidays, you need to get the process started now and get it sold fast, easy, and at top dollar with Chad and Sandy Newman. Local real estate experts I trust and recommend and have now for years. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mike and Rosemary in St. Augustine write in, we needed to move on to a more affordable home in a specific school zone, but our mortgage pre-qualification wasn't enough and at a high interest rate. Chad and Sandy negotiated with a lender, lowered the interest rate by 1%, and increased our approval amount. We got the home we needed for $200 less per month than our prior lender's rate. That's what you get with Chad and Sandy. That guarantee. Call today, 414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Glad you're with us. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. More coming up on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, part of USA Today. He joins me at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. You know, quickly to college football, a couple of things. I haven't spoken with you since the Florida Gators ended their football season on Friday in Tampa. Look, it was what it was, right? It was a game against Tulane. Not only was it Tulane, but it was a Tulane team that had lost a lot of guys in the portal, including their starting quarterback, two of their better defensive players along the defensive line. So Florida was expected to win the game, and that's exactly what they did. Final score was 33-8, but to me, that wasn't even as indicative of how the game looked. I mean, it was much more lopsided than even 33-8. And I don't care who you are. If I would have told any Gator fan back on Labor Day that you're going to go 8-5 and you're going to win a bowl game in 2024, you would have taken that in an absolute heartbeat. If I didn't tell you how you were going to get there, what games you were going to win or lose, or the roller coaster that was the season, I just told you, hey, 8-5 and you're going to win a bowl game, I believe you would have taken that without hesitation. So from that standpoint, a successful year for Billy Napier. Now, 8-5 is not going to get the job done moving forward, right? There's an expectation at Florida, and 8-5 is not that expectation. I believe that was what it was for 2024. That's not what it is going to be moving forward with DJ Lagway. And Florida has also received some good news. Dallas Wilson, the 5-star from Tampa, the wide receiver, is now officially in the fold. The Gators probably have the best wide receiver class in the country. They got two of the top 10 wide receivers in America, Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown. Nashawn Montgomery's also a 4-star. I believe, according to 24/7 Sports, Florida has 4 of the top, 60 ranked wide receivers in America that are part of their 2024 recruiting class. So, good news from that standpoint. Good job by Billy Napier. You end on a 4-game winning streak. Wins over LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State, and the bowl game against Tulane. As far as the first round of the college football playoff, look, it was boring, right? The games were not good. The games were not competitive. People say, oh, it's a 12-team playoff. Well, you know what? I'm never going to complain about getting to see more college football, but I do think there was an error, and we talked about this last week, and I'm certainly not the only one that thinks this. This is a common thought, but one that I thought really stuck out over these first 4 games. Look, Arizona State and Boise State did not deserve byes. They just didn't. If you want to have the 4 Power 4 conference championship game winners in the playoff, I have no problem with that. If you want to have the highest ranked group of 5 conference champion in the playoff, I have no problem with that. But this nonsense about giving out byes to teams like Arizona State and Boise State is ridiculous. No. They should have been playing in round 1. Now, if you want to give an added benefit to winning your conference championship game, well, then you get a home game in the first round. I would be fine with that. Seed them 5 through 8. Have Arizona State as the 5th seed, Boise State as the 6th seed. So they have to play in round 1, but winning the conference allows them to be at home in round 1. No problem. But when you have Texas and Penn State playing Clemson and SMU, you're going to get blowouts, right? I was shocked at how bad Tennessee was. Shocked. And maybe you want to call me an SEC homer, and that's fair, right? I mean, I can't dispute that. I believe the Southeastern Conference is the best college football conference in America. I'm not going to debate you on that. That's just how I feel. But it certainly wasn't on Saturday night. I mean, Tennessee ran into a buzzsaw. That was crazy. And there were 20,000 Volunteer fans in that stadium. And they had absolutely no answer for Jeremiah Smith and that Ohio State offense. kudos to the Buckeyes. I didn't know how they would respond after losing to Michigan, but they responded by absolutely beating the tar out of the Southeastern Conference and the Tennessee Volunteers. And as far as the other game, Notre Dame and Indiana, rather, look, Indiana's 11-1 in a major conference. Again, they deserve to be in. They're just not as good as Notre Dame. And Notre Dame wins the game and had very little trouble in the process. So I know people were disappointed with the first round of the playoff. I certainly was as well. But I'm never going to complain about more college football. And I believe the quarterfinals will be much more compelling, right? Oregon, Ohio State, are you kidding me? Boise State, Penn State has some intrigue. Obviously, Georgia without Carson Beck taking on Notre Dame. And then Texas, Arizona State. That's probably the least of which for me. I think Texas would be a pretty big favorite over them. But the fact that we still have 8 teams alive for the College Football National Championship, I'll never complain about the playoff. I just was disappointed in the first round games. So there you have it. College football playoff rolls on. New Year's Eve, we'll start back up with the round of 8, the quarterfinals. Again, you still have the semis and ultimately the national championship game. Let's talk Florida, Tulane. Let's talk about that college football playoff. Talk a little Florida State as well with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Talking college football with you on a Monday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark rolls on until 8 o'clock tonight right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
We can't wait to get game day underway, so we get started 5 hours before kickoff.
I can't pass that up.
It's the Terminix Kickoff Show. Live from Tailgaters Parking. Brought to you by Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation.
Thank you.
On 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Frank Frangie here. It's the holiday season, and Nimnik Buick GMC is here for you. Whether you're making memories on the road or continuing family traditions right here in Jacksonville, you can always count on us because there's nobody but Nimnik. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% zero APR financing. That's right, 0%. Shop online 24/7 at NimnikBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Local 234 plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and thank you to all the members and contractors for their continued support and partnership. Together, they've helped build a stronger foundation for Jacksonville since 1901. Enjoy spending time with your friends and families this holiday season. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Local 234, make the right connection. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon for MyBookie. While other books make promises, MyBookie delivers. This holiday season, they're stacking the deck in your favor with 12 days of Christmas now through the 31st, a festive lineup of can't-miss opportunities for bettors to cash in. Risk-free Thursdays, super boosts, and free bets. Weekly casino giveaways with hundreds of winners and thousands in cash prizes. All it takes is a 50-cent spin on BetSoft slots to enter. With the road to New Orleans, bowl games galore, and a Christmas Day sports feast featuring NFL action and an NBA doubleheader, this is your season to win. The 12 Days of Christmas event is live right now. Lock in today. Use my code 1010XL with your first deposit, and MyBookie will give you a little extra to start your holiday hot. MyBookie is offering a 50% deposit bonus for 1010XL listeners. Just sign up and use promo code 1010XL. There's a reason MyBookie has been the go-to for serious bettors for 10 years. Make your holiday season a jolly one with MyBookie.
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jacksonville Cougars. It's me, Soccer Sam from Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizzeria is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. $10 daily deals, dine-in beer and wine, and delivery. Salvatores.com.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family-owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
What's colder, the North or the South Pole? The answer coming up.
Filing any homeowner's claim is really easy with Southern Oak Insurance. Simply file your claim directly with us. We'll handle the vendors. It will save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The South Pole is colder than the North Pole, which is an ocean surrounded by land. The South Pole is land surrounded by ocean.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. I, for one, like a sure bet. Putting my money up, knowing I'll win. That's why I bet on Awaken 180. It was a sure thing, and the results proved it to all of us. Start your new year out knowing you'll reach your goal. Awaken180weightloss.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Florida Gators season is now in the rearview mirror. A bowl victory over Tulane to end their season at 8-5. Pretty good, all things considering, for Billy Napier and the Gators. And what about all the complaining about the first round of the 12-team playoff? Were the complaints warranted? And what is the committee going to do about it moving forward? A lot of questions to ask for that. Let me go to my friend Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to everybody. Amazing that both those holidays are on the same day this year, but we do appreciate all the listeners and the viewers over the year, and certainly wish them well as far as you and the family, and particularly the young man, as Santa Claus slides down the chimney with probably one or two things for him. But the playoffs were underwhelming, but I'm glad they're here. There's a lot to work out. Big win for the Gators. We await Georgia, and there's and we'll have a holiday in the middle of all this stuff.
Yeah, look, and we'll get to the playoff in a moment. And Brent, look, the bowl game for Florida kind of was what it was. Tulane was undermanned. I don't think Tulane, even at full strength, would have beaten Florida. I think it would have been a much closer game, but Florida dominated 33-8. Probably wasn't even as indicative of what a blowout it really was. What, if anything, do you take away from that for the Gators?
Well, it really gives the fans a good taste in their mouth that they didn't think they would have, frankly. And you've got to feel good about 4 straight wins, a bowl win. Look, I know Tulane was undermanned, but they still played well. DJ Lagway is really good, but he's got a long way to go. He's still a work in progress. The defense continues to play well, holding Tulane under 200 yards. They still just have issues that they've got to deal with, and I will continue to say, and I know that Napier has learned a lot, but I hope, Hack, that he understands that he still needs an offensive coordinator. And frankly, I think as much as an offensive coordinator, he needs a special teams coordinator. I know they've got this guy, Joe Houston, but they're still just the things that happen in games that you've got to call two timeouts in the first half because you've got 10 men on the field for special teams, and you've got this mad that the team's supposed to stand on. So it's mostly good, but the bad and the uncertain are the things that will determine how long he stays at Florida.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, final Gator thought. Look, the transfer portal has not been great to Florida. What has been is the Dallas Wilson news, right? The 5-star wide receiver from Tampa. That is enormous for the Gators. And the fact that Caleb Banks, Jake Slaughter, and now Austin Barber have all announced they're coming back. So from that standpoint, I think it's already been a very, very good offseason for Billy Napier.
No doubt. Dallas Wilson was a very nice pickup. They also got an edge rusher from UMass. I'm guessing here, Hack, Kofi Asar, 6'5", 250, 2 years of eligibility. They also got a quarterback from Charlotte, Deshaun Purdy, freshman, threw for 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 picks last year or this season. So they're active. They're getting some guys. A lot of these guys are staying. I think there's as much momentum for Florida right now as there is for South Carolina. And again, somebody's going to ask the question, why did they get a quarterback? Well, you get a quarterback because you can't have enough quarterbacks, and you need 3 or 4 of them in your quarterback room, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, no question. They needed a guy that was could be a backup if DJ Lagway goes down, and Purdy from Charlotte, like you said, 1,800 yards passing, 10 passing touchdowns. They have something now in that quarterback room if DJ Lagway were to go down in 2025. All right, the college football playoff. A lot of complaining about it, a lot of bickering about it. Brent, let's just start from the mile-high view. The games were not good. In your opinion, why were they not good, and what does the committee need to do about it moving forward?
Well, some of the early numbers are in, and they're not real good. I mean, the best number overnight, and we'll get the other numbers later this week, Tennessee, Ohio State was 6.3. Indiana, Notre Dame on Friday night was 5.7. And Clemson, Texas, SMU, Penn State were basically 3.6 and 3.1. And that is not what TV folks want by any stretch of the imagination. There were certainly some surprises in the games. Notre Dame and their defense looked very good. They've got Georgia next. lot of debate on whether Indiana should even been in there because of their schedule. I get that, but when you've got double digits and you're in a Power 4 conference, you're likely getting in. Penn State just destroyed SMU. And look, I admit my bias here, but Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina would have destroyed SMU also. Texas flexing its muscle a bit, beating Clemson handily. And what to me was the biggest surprise was Ohio State finally finding themselves one way or another in being able to beat Tennessee. And again, the thing that you've got that you shouldn't have is in your quarterfinals, you've got number 1 Oregon, number 8 Ohio State. Ohio State seated too low. And frankly, what they should do is and hopefully they'll do it in 25, is to reseed the teams after the first round. That would be one of the smarter things that they could do. Now, injuries have really taken their toll. Dylan Sampson did nothing for Tennessee because of his hamstring. You've got Carson Beck now out for Georgia, and Gunnar Stockton having to play. And again, there will be debate. Should they leave it at 12 and just tweak it, or move it to 14 or 16? I think they'll expand it because of the money, frankly. But and hopefully the next round will be a lot better. But we've had this before, even in the 4 with some disappointing semis. But heck, again, the committee's got to rethink their criteria for strength of schedule, and they really need to reseed these teams after the first round.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. A couple of thoughts, and I talked to you about this last week. Number 1, if you win your conference, you probably deserve to get in. I'm not going to argue that. You don't deserve a bye. The fact that Arizona State and Boise State got byes, I thought hurt the first-round games because I think Arizona State, Clemson, and Boise State, SMU would have been far more competitive.
Yeah.
And I think Penn State and Texas probably deserve byes where Arizona State and Boise State got them. Secondly, the home teams dominated, which is interesting. Again, these games were not really all that competitive. And that brings me to Tennessee. Again, SEC homerism, perhaps. I have my SEC goggles on. But, Brent, I really thought Tennessee maybe not win the game, but, man, I was shocked at how bad they looked and how ill-prepared they looked. I mean, I imagine Tennessee fans are not very happy with Heupel after that, correct?
No, absolutely not. And look, they were poised to have a resounding victory. Probably half the stadium were Tennessee fans, which is amazing because of how Ohio State fans want Ryan Day out. But the injuries really doomed Tennessee in a lot of ways. We mentioned Dylan Sampson being out. But you also had Squirrel White. He was injured. Brew McCoy was injured. That really hurt them. And, Lamaliva did not really do a whole lot, very much. But I give credit to Ohio State. No one thought they'd play as well as they did. They were incredible. Got out to – I mean, the game was basically over at the end of the first quarter. Frankly, agree with everything you said on the buys. Matter of fact, they may even consider getting rid of the buys, frankly. But the thing this committee can't do next year is and some of it was the commissioner's fault, but they boxed themselves into a corner with the criteria they had in the beginning. So I think when they first start meeting again, officially, I think they've had some virtually. These are a lot of things that they need to address, and they need to address quickly.
Brent, in the short time that we have left, we'll preview the quarterfinals next week because, again, the quarterfinals aren't until New Year's Eve. But of the 4, right, you got Notre Dame and Georgia. You got Penn State, Boise State. You got Texas, Arizona State. And as you mentioned, you got the big one between Ohio State and Oregon. How would you assess those? Which one are you most excited about?
Well, you can't help but be excited about Ohio State and Oregon to see how they're going to play. It will also be interesting to see, are these teams going to be a bit rusty, too? And frankly, even though they played Penn State, SMU, I thought Penn State played one of the better games that they have the entire season. I hope Arizona State, Texas is competitive. I think it probably will be. But this Texas team, when they can run the ball, are frankly extremely dangerous. That's a good opponent for Georgia, don't you think, Hack? They need a Notre Dame team that's kind of like them, big, physical, can run the ball, that they can pass when they need to. But all eyes are on Gunnar Stockton and what he can do and not do coming up in a few days.
Hey, Brent, final question. Quickly shifting to basketball, and not an X's and O's question, just a broad overview. You've covered this conference for forever, as long as I've known you, over 20 years, and certainly far before that. When did the SEC become the best college basketball conference in America? Because it's not even close right now. They are number one, and it's not a conversation.
And listen, they have dismantled everybody in the ACC that used to be the bell cow. Mike Tranghese was brought in, the former commissioner, to help with college basketball, and he told them you need better facilities, better coaches, and better players, and you need to spend money on basketball, and the league has done that. And after they made it a real priority, that has really come up. You can argue right now, too, they've got some of the better coaches, frankly, anywhere. And I can tell you, from living in the state of Alabama, to see where Auburn and Alabama are right now, it's just absolutely revolutionary. But it's because of the coaches that they have got. But to your point, and it's a good one, I've heard maybe as many, and this is mind-boggling, as 12 going into the big dance. And also I heard from some other knowledgeable basketball people last week, heck, it may be more than 12. That's hard to fathom, is it not?
Yeah, I think Lenardi in his latest bracketology had like 13 SEC teams in the field, which is just absolutely wild right now. And for Florida, look, Florida's undefeated. They don't play again until December 29th, and they're gonna beat Stetson, barring a huge upset.
Oh yeah.
So they're gonna be 13-0. But bam, Rupp Arena, first SEC game January 4th. And then the number one team in the land, Tennessee, comes to Gainesville on January 7th. So it's going to get really interesting in the SEC because all these teams have beaten up on out-of-conference teams. Well, now they're about to go head-to-head against each other, which should make for a very interesting January and February.
Well, and the great thing for the league with that is when you play each other as good as you are, by the time you get to the tournament, they will really be battle-tested and ready to play. I'm not saying we're going to have a Final Four of all SEC teams, but the way they're playing this year, Hack, I'm not sure that would be that much of a shock.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, a happy holidays to you and your family, brother. We always enjoy having you. We'll preview the quarterfinals next week, my friend.
Can't wait, man. Merry Christmas to all. Happy Hanukkah, and I hope everybody has a wonderful week.
If offense and defense don't win the game, sometimes it's up to the special teams.
And here comes the field goal team. They've got to hurry.
After the game, catch the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally on 1010XL.
I'm Chris Campione. In a world of big box law firms with satellite offices, there's something special about having a local legal team that cares about you and your community. We're not just lawyers, we're your neighbors. We understand the unique challenges facing the Jacksonville community because we live here too. At Campione Law, Campione Cares isn't just a tagline, it's our commitment to you. Campione Law, your trusted lawyers after an accident. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione Law.
Roland Reach Plumbing, there when you need them. Big or small plumbing problem, call Roland Reach Plumbing anytime at 260-7059. 260-7059, where quality and experience count.
It's a sale so big, Santa wants to get in on it.
It's Beard's Diamonds' incredible 44th anniversary sale, held over till Christmas Eve. Everything store-wide is on sale, up to 44% off.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center or beardsdiamonds.com.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Grinding out good grades can be just as challenging as winning games. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
If you're ready to transform your yard with a fence that stands out, elevate your curb appeal with Superior Fence and Rail. Superior takes pride in offering first-class service, friendly installers, and unmatched fence products. Mention this ad and get $250 off your next project. It's time to get off the fence and call today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
When it comes to towing products, your safety on the road is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Whether it's a heavy-duty tow hitch, trailer frame, wiring, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com to explore a range of products and schedule your installation. Cannons of Jacksonville, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
Hey folks, Dave Binion with Zero Res. I asked my wife what she wants for Christmas, and she said the same thing she does every year. She wants a clean home full of family and friends. That means the carpets, the tile and grout, the large oriental rug in our family room, and the huge sectional sofa that everyone loves to hang out on all need a good Zero Res cleaning. Give Zero Res a call and get your carpets cleaned for only $49 a room, and get your tile and grout cleaned for 25% off. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com
so you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and if I know anything about the dudes that listen to 1010, they've got their own list of toys that they'd like to have for Christmas. You've got some of them in your showroom.
We've got all of them. We've got the toys for them. We got the toys for the kids. We got go-karts, dirt bikes, side-by-sides, ATVs, you name it. We've got it, and we are ready for Christmas.
So you can shop for yourself and for your loved ones. It's all happening at Cycles of Jacksonville, online or on Atlantic near Regency.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
It's the time of year all our customers love. At Garber Auto Mall, every 2024 must go. Take advantage of thousands in discounts on all new Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. We'll take you up till 8 o'clock tonight. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, part of the USA Today. As we'll look back on the loss yesterday to the Raiders, we'll look ahead to the Tennessee Titans and talk about everything involving your Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, when you take a look around the National Football League on both Saturday and yesterday, some interesting events took place. Obviously, Kansas City. Boy, I'll tell you, man, this Kansas City Chiefs team, you watch them, and they just aren't as dominant as you're accustomed to seeing Kansas City. Quite frankly, they just don't look as good to the eyes, right? They don't pass the eye test for what we've seen from Chief teams in recent memory. But yet you look at their win-loss record, and they're 14-1. They're 14-1. Absolutely incredible what they've done. The close games they've won. They won another close game on Saturday, 27-19 over Houston. The Texans have already won the AFC South by default. But, boy, the Texans, that Tank Dell injury, just brutal. They're already without Stephon Diggs for the year. Tank Dell, great player, but, look, he had a season-ending injury a year ago, and now on Saturday actually held on to the ball, good grief. Broke his kneecap, tore his ACL, just one of the more gruesome injuries. You could tell instantly how bad it was by the reaction of the Texan players. But now being without Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs, Houston, I did think it was interesting today. They did pick up Deontay Johnson off of waivers. Deontay Johnson, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, went to Carolina, was traded to Baltimore. Things were miserable in Baltimore for him. They had a parting of the ways. Baltimore released him. Houston picks him up today on waivers. That's a pretty good waiver claim. Deontay Johnson is an accomplished wide receiver in the league. I don't know what he can give the Texans in a very short amount of time, but maybe that'll help without both Stephon Diggs and now Tank Dell. Also on Saturday, Baltimore over Pittsburgh. I wanted to spend a moment about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's always been one of my favorites from his time, obviously, at Yulee High School here in Northeast Florida. We had Derrick in studio with us a bunch. Joe Coward and I did back in the day. You realize Derrick Henry on the all-time NFL rushing list is ranked 21st now all-time in rushing yardage. He passed LaShawn McCoy on Saturday on that list. He's got over 11,000 yards rushing now, Derrick Henry does. In fact, his exact total, 11,136. That actually puts him 22nd. He is exactly 100 yards behind O.J. Simpson. He's 105 yards behind Corey Dillon. And he's just over 200 yards behind John Riggins. So you would expect him to pass O.J. Simpson and Corey Dillon and maybe John Riggins before this NFL season comes to an end. That would put him in the top 20 all time. By the way, Fred Taylor is 17th on that list. Fred Taylor about 500 yards more than Derrick Henry has. Derrick Henry is going to go to the Hall of Fame. From a guy that people thought was too big to play running back to winning a Heisman Trophy at Alabama and now going one day to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, how wrong people were about Derrick Henry. 162 for Henry on Saturday in that winning effort for Baltimore over Pittsburgh. The New York Giants are going to have the number 1 pick in the draft. They are terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I know Giant fans don't mind that at this point because they want a quarterback, and they're going to get a quarterback because they're going to have the number 1 pick. I don't believe they're going to win another game this year. They played Atlanta yesterday. Atlanta's nothing great, but the Giants didn't look like they belonged on the same field with the Atlanta Falcons. The Giants, by far and away, are the worst team in football, and they will have the number 1 pick, in my opinion, in the draft. How about the Detroit Lions? They get their 13th win yesterday. You know, all the talk here about Doug Peterson and his future, and obviously Ben Johnson, the coordinator in Detroit. So many people want him. Did you see what he did yesterday? There was a play yesterday where Jared Goff hit Sam Laporta for a touchdown. But on the play, Goff kind of stumbled out of the backfield. Jahmyr Gibbs stumbled out of the backfield. And at the time, people thought, well, that was just, a fluke thing. A couple of guys slipped. And then people started watching it on replay. That was a planned deal for the Lions offense. Jahmyr Gibbs intentionally fell down. Jared Goff intentionally stumbled coming out of his drop back. And that got the Bears' attention enough to where Laporta's running wide open in the end zone. Ben Johnson is wild, man. He is a wild, wild dude when it comes to calling plays. Absolutely incredible play call. Detroit wins the game 34-17. Cincinnati over Cleveland 24-6. Joe Burrow was fantastic. Cincinnati clinging on to playoff life by a thread. They have to beat the Denver Broncos this weekend to keep their playoff hopes alive. Burrow's had a great year, but it's probably going to come for naught if they don't have a little bit of help here in the last 2 weeks to get in the playoffs. The Titans come in here on Sunday to play the Jaguars. They were down 38-7 at a point in the game yesterday against Indianapolis. Indianapolis then took their foot off the gas. Tennessee came back to make it look closer than it really was. I can tell you, talking to people in Nashville, there is real question as to whether Brian Callahan's going to be one and done there. First-year head coach is 3-12. They are awful. People there are not happy with the direction of the team. I would still be surprised if Callahan is fired after this year. It's hard to fire a coach after 1 year. But talking to people that cover that team, they think it's maybe 50-50 that Callahan returns for year 2. They are not happy in Nashville. They're happy in L.A. The Rams win again. Sean McVay has the Rams at 9-6. Boy, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, unless they're playing Jacksonville, they can't do anything right. The Jets only put 9 points on the scoreboard yesterday. Rams win 19-9. Rams control their own destiny for an NFC West championship. Game of the day was in Washington. The Commanders over Philadelphia. Now, Jalen Hurts left that game with a concussion. Kenny Pickett came in, looked pretty good, honestly, as a backup quarterback. Had the Eagles in position to win the game. Devontae Smith, a very costly drop in that game. Give Jaden Daniels credit. He marched Washington down the field. They punch it in for the win. Washington now 10-5. They are going to make the playoffs. Great year for Jaden Daniels. Great year for Dan Quinn and the Washington Commanders. Minnesota 13-2. How about this? Minnesota and Detroit play each other in Week 18. There's going to be at minimum a 13-win team. It's going to have to be a wild card team, right? Detroit and Minnesota both 13-2. One of them is not going to win that division, and I'm going to have to play as a road team on wild card weekend, which is pretty crazy. Buffalo did not look good yesterday, but they hold on to beat a bad New England team 24-21. The Miami Dolphins beat San Francisco. San Francisco learned earlier in the day with that Commanders win that they were already eliminated from the playoffs. Miami gets it done to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. And last night, really good game between Tampa Bay and Dallas. Look, Dallas doesn't have anything to play for, But they are playing hard for Mike McCarthy. No question about that. That's a bad loss for the Bucs. Dallas gets it done 26-24. Tampa Bay now does not control their destiny. Atlanta is the leader in that division based on tiebreakers. Tampa's going to need to win out and probably get a little bit of help if they want to win the NFC South. So that was a bad loss last night for the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield played well, but ultimately Dallas gets it done 26-24. Monday Night Football tonight, Week 16 closes out in New Orleans and Green Bay. Certainly you would expect Green Bay to win that game, and they are comfortably in the postseason conversation. In fact, a win tonight probably secures them a playoff spot. A team that is not going to the playoffs are the Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously playing out the stretch. They're 3-12. They lose yesterday to Las Vegas. They have Tennessee coming in here on Sunday. Let's review the Raider game. Let's talk about the Titans game. And let's talk about big picture. What's going to happen here with the Jaguars 2 weeks from today on Black Monday. Let's do that with Zach Goodall, a Jaguars Wire. That's part of the USA Today Sports Network. Always enjoy talking Jaguar football with Zach. And he joins me next on a Monday evening in the city of Jacksonville. Happy holidays, everybody. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
The weekly Pick'em contest.
Is this what I think it is?
Make the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park. Pick the worst. You'll still win some pizza, just not enough for a party. Flip a coin. Make your picks at 1010XL.com.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
It's the time of year all our customers love. At Garber Auto Mall, every 2024 must go. Take advantage of thousands in discounts on all new Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Making a difference in our community for 2025? Paul Martinez here, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The Boys and Girls Clubs offers a safe environment to youth every day with homework assistance, a hot meal, career readiness, and character and leadership programs. 57% of club alumni say the Boys and Girls Club saved their lives. Help us grow our outreach as we serve the kids in our community throughout our 59 clubs. Go to bgcnf.org to donate and learn more.
Don't make a bad call when it comes to servicing your home. Cooling off with a baby pool in the house to fix your air conditioning problem is a bad call. Trying to catch a wave in a flooded bathroom is a bad call. Using a burning electrical panel to make s'mores is a bad call. The next time something goes wrong, make a good call to Donovan.
Whether you need air, electric, or plumbing service, Donovan is always a good call. It's why we've been trusted by our customers for almost 40 years and why you can trust us to deliver fast, reliable service to your home. Donovan, always a good call.
Visit DonovanAC.com today.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com
so you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reese Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
This holiday season, Capital One reminds you to give yourself the gift of 1.5% cash back with the Capital One Quicksilver Card.
Can I earn 1.5% cash back on birds?
Birds?
What if you sent your true love 2 turtle doves plus a partridge in a pear tree?
Sure, but why would anyone want that?
The song was very convincing.
Earn 1.5% cash back on all your holiday purchases with the Capital One Quicksilver Card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Fight skin cancer by playing golf at the Melanoma Research Foundation Golf Tournament December 30th at Queens Harbor for a day of food and fun. To sign up, call 904-507-1401.
The 5-Star Veteran Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveterancenter.org.
If you're between ages 16 and 24, you can learn a career in construction, electrical, plumbing, or masonry with free training from the AMI Kids Florida Registered Free Apprenticeship Program. Call 576-7337.
Your love can give pets a purpose. To adopt a loving animal from the Jacksonville Humane Society, call 725-8766.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Jacksonville Cougars. It's me, Soccer Sam from Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizzeria is now open in Jacksonville, Florida. Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. $10 daily deals, dine-in beer and wine, and delivery. Salvatores.com.
Cigar smokers. All-Pro Lyman Leon Cersei here for my favorite spot, Cigars International. The Cigars International Superstore is now open at the Town Center, a massive 6,200 square feet with over 600 cigar brands. A full-service bar and indoor and outdoor lounges with flat-screen TVs. Give their old-fashioned a try. It's the best that I've ever had. Follow on social for holiday specials and events. Cigars International is now open at the Town Center.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I just cannot say enough good things about my friends at Pella Windows and Doors. They have the highest quality products, the strongest limited warranties in the industry, and they just flat out look amazing. But don't just take my word for it. Consumer Reports still has Pella rated #1 in all 3 major window categories, so why not go with the best? Call them today or visit the Pella showroom and be sure to ask about the latest hurricane and impact-resistant windows. That's Pella Windows and Doors on Phillips Highway, and tell them Mike sent you.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys Locksmith Service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans this Sunday, 1 o'clock, Everbank Stadium, the regular season home finale, a game that has 0 playoff implications, but actually has a lot of importance when it comes to the draft, as both the Titans and the Jaguars enter the game at 3-12, combined records of 6-24 when these two teams get together on Sunday. Let's look back at the Raider loss. Let's look ahead to the Titans, and let's talk big picture about the future of this Jaguar organization with Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, part of USA Today. Zach's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Zach, how we doing, man?
Hacker, happy holidays. I'm doing well, and well, I was doing well, but then when you put it like that, game of combined records 6-24, that makes the holidays, I guess, a little less happy, but otherwise great.
Oh, it'll be a stimulating ball game on Sunday, Zach. I'm really looking forward to Mason Rudolph versus Mac Jones, and we'll get there. They lost a game yesterday in Vegas to a team that had a 10-game losing streak coming in. Brian Thomas Jr., Mason Smith were 2 huge bright spots, but aside from that, just the same old, same old. It's Groundhog Day. The same nonsense is happening week in and week out. What did you make of yesterday's performance?
Well, of course, Brian Thomas stands out. I mean, at this point, it would be a silly decision not to bet on him standing out, especially when you stack him up against the rest of the team and what we're seeing on a week in and week out basis. And when we look big picture here, I can't help but think every week Brian Thomas is having a great week. Jarian Jones largely is doing fantastic this season. Mason Smith puts it together in this game. I'm sure people will hate hearing this, but I think those are all really good things for Trent Baalke. Maybe I'm totally wrong there. Maybe it's in the bag one way or another. both will be gone, that neither will be gone. One's back and one's not. But as we come to the end of the season, like, I think everyone's kind of expecting things to go poorly as they have throughout the year. But in these moments, Mason Smith standing out, that's a better thing for Trent Baalke than not, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. All that's to say is that, just like last time we talked, it's interesting that we're in this position where no one really knows what's going to come next.
That's fair. And in the interest of fairness, I brought this up last night on the fifth quarter. Whether you're talking about Tank Bigsby, Parker Washington, Ventrell Miller, Jarian Jones, certainly Brian Thomas Jr., Mason Smith, Trayvon Walker. I mean, literally every one of those guys is a Trent Baalke draft pick. So if you're going to kill him for the bad stuff, give him a little bit of credit for the good stuff. But then the Gabe Davis contract, right? The Ronald Darby contract, the Eric Armstead, my gosh, the Eric Armstead contract. I mean, for as much as you can give Baalke credit for, Zach, you can destroy him for other things just as easily.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, Eric Armstead did get his second sack of the season. I don't think he's started a game yet, though. Is that still where we're at?
Well, we officially tied Roy Robertson-Harris on the team with 2 sacks, and Roy Robertson-Harris hasn't been here for 9 weeks. So at least Eric Armstead has that going for him.
Exactly. I'm with you. I'm in the business of trying to be fair, but yeah, call it what it is too. There have been just as many misses, and at the end of the day, like I earlier this week, I think a couple people got upset when that clip of Doug Peterson was going around with the Mac Jones question. And I kind of stepped up to defend him because, like, for all of the moments of his that have caused a lot of rightful ire, what is he supposed to say there, right? The worst deep passing quarterback in the league, bottom 3 at least. And he's not going to say that. That would cause way more of a problem. But that's indicative of where this roster is. They put a lot of faith in Trevor Lawrence getting healthy, and if not, they thought they had a better backup plan this time. They didn't, and that's a personnel decision. That is a Trent Baalke decision. It's not a Doug Peterson one.
Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., obviously the bright spot, but I want to talk about Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. Now, Brenton Strange did not have a great game yesterday. He had a terrific game against the Jets. The emergence of Washington and lump Strange into this as well. Zach, what effect, if any, does that have on the futures of Christian Kirk and or Evan Ingram here in Jacksonville?
Interesting question, because, like, logically, you would think, right, that maybe those players could become more available, or at least, like, Jacksonville can become more willing to part with those players. At the same time, they're stepping up, and I think that they're showing some promising things, but it's really out of necessity. And at the end of the day, it's still not putting the team over the hump. They're not, like, winning games or any better offensively because Brenton Strange has stepped up. It's just, to me, it's more promising that at least they have the adequate depth to be able to do that. So I guess regardless of what the future looks like for Christian Kirk or Evan Ingram or anyone that is a little more aging at this point, I'm sure this team is going to continue to try and get younger in the next coming years, whether it's with Trent Baalke or another GM. To build around a top dollar quarterback, you got to get younger. But at the same time, I don't know if you can necessarily bank on what you're seeing from just some flashy performances, no doubt, and some promising moments on film from a lot of these young players. But again, like, would that not be similar to mistakes they've made in the past too, of really believing in the talent that they've gotten and ultimately having overlooked some weaknesses? It just, to me, it's a promising thing that you don't want to put too much weight in at this point.
We talked about Mason Smith. Honestly, up until yesterday, his rookie year was a disappointment, right? I mean, he was healthy and active at times. He was inactive due to an ankle injury at times. It was not good, clearly. Yesterday against Las Vegas was his best game as a Jaguar. Now, some of that has to do with the Raider offensive line being absolutely atrocious, but give the young man credit as well. He made those guys look atrocious at times with his play out there. Is that just a matter, Zach, of the light coming on for Mason Smith? What do you attribute that to?
I think it's a combination. I think that the things that he was showing was exactly, what was on his draft profile, coming out as this really big, athletic, promising player who needed a lot of technical work and didn't get enough of an opportunity at LSU to do that because of injuries. And just playing defensive tackle in the NFL, yeah, there is a light that has to come on more than just being big and strong and fast. And I think that, I know that the big deal was the 2 healthy scratches he had earlier in the year, but I don't know if necessarily people remembered that there was an ankle injury in there too. And I think that for a player who I believe he had an ankle at LSU after his torn knee as well, it was always going to take some time for him. And he had the setback this year. And now I think after really what's been a string of, I don't want to say great performances, but you've seen the improvement little by little along the way. He had a really good matchup yesterday. I think his sack went against a 280-pound guard. But yeah, the fact that he is making those plays when he probably should be is a good sign for him as he continues to gain comfort.
Couple of more is that good old Jaguars Wire here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. I want to look big picture in a moment, but let's get to Sunday, the home finale against the Titans. Again, zero interest around the league other than people in Jacksonville and Nashville, but there is interest when it comes to draft positioning. The Jaguars would currently be picking third in the draft. The Titans would currently be picking fourth. And, Zach, we're contractually obligated to mention that the players and the coaches want to win this game, all right? The players want to win, the coaches want to win. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's actually talk about reality. And what reality is if you ever want the Jaguars to lose a game, this is going to be one of the ones you want them to lose. Because if Jacksonville beats Tennessee, you're basically handing the Titans Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, and they're looking to draft a quarterback because Will Levis is probably done there. If Tennessee beats Jacksonville, not only does that help the Jaguars remain in the top 2 in the draft, it also would probably cost Tennessee one of those quarterbacks. So as much as you don't want to say it, a loss Sunday is probably what the Jaguars need to do, right?
For sure. And that's got to be a tough pill to swallow when you consider that it is Tennessee, especially, and like wanting to lose to Tennessee is something that I know a lot of Jaguars fans are repulsed hearing right now. But that's, that's a 2-for-1 win effectively, is you get to lock up a Bear pick. And I know that there's been some contention, I would say, about, well, Jacksonville's gotten so many top picks and here's what they've done with them, which totally fair. I can't really come up with a counter there, but it is what it is. They're 3-12. It's not a fantastic draft. I think you want to have as best a resource as possible. So at that point, it does become a fair topic as to whether or not losing is the better thing for the team. But that's honestly, I hadn't even thought about it too much at this point because I've been trying to avoid the draft as much as possible. But to be able to prevent your most heated rival, again, the one that you would be disgusted by just telling yourself that you would like to lose this game, like if you can prevent them from getting the franchise cornerstone that they've been looking for. I mean, the multiple drafts we've watched from afar and up close, multiple games a year, how Tennessee has struggled with the quarterback position. It would just be a little, nice cherry on top.
And again, who knows how good Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward will be, but they are projected to be the top 2 quarterbacks taken very high in the draft. And with the Giants already having one of those picks all but locked up, it looks like somebody would need to fall into number 2. And if that were to be the Titans, you would certainly anticipate after benching Will Levis that they would be in the market for one of those quarterbacks. All right, Zach. Again, Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire here with us. Now let's look big picture. The most common thought among Jaguar fans is that both guys are gone, Baalke and Peterson. I think Peterson is all but gone. I'm still probably 60-40 that Baalke's gone. What I don't think has any chance of happening is Baalke being gone and Peterson staying. What is your thought on that whole situation now that we're 2 weeks out from Black Monday?
That I'm confused. That it still felt as though the writing was on the wall after Detroit and during the bye. And for it not to have happened then, and also for really the biggest leak that I think has come since then, or even if you want to call it that, is Albert Breer putting out this past week that Trent Baalke might retire, which we'll see. I don't know. It's fascinating that this has really gone so many different ways, from talking heads at the top of the game too. Reporters from the media arm of the NFL were out here saying in week 12, this could definitely happen. We hear that it sounds like everyone's kind of lost faith and lost hope entering that bye week. I don't know. I mean, I'm with you. I think logically that there is no way that Peterson would be back if Baalke weren't. Just at that point, that would truly be the house cleaning that I think Shad Khan needs, I think owes the team at this point. That's never really happened. And it would be confusing for him to bring back the coach and not the GM. But could it be the other way around? Sure, Trent Baalke has done this a million times, it feels like, where he's been able to, stick around for the next regime, get another chance. Maybe he retires and he gets to go out on his own terms. I just don't know. It's truly been fascinating for there to really not be anything that's come of it since those reports in week 11.
You have an interesting perspective. You covered the Jaguars. You then went away to cover the Florida Gators, and now you're back on the Jaguar beat. But you were obviously around when Shad Khan took over the team. I get the sense from the fan base, this is the first time in the Khan tenure that a lot of the negativity is going towards him. We make a big deal out of the record, 63 and 147 since he took over the team at the beginning of 2012. The 8 years of Dave Caldwell, the 4 years of Gus Bradley, the bad hires he's made. Look, Shad has done so many good things. He gives you the money to spend on free agency and contract extensions. He built that brand new Miller Electric Center, which is beautiful. The Stadium of the Future's coming. I mean, my goodness, he's keeping the team in Jacksonville. He doesn't dilly-dally in the everyday football operations. From that standpoint, he is an amazing owner. I just think he's been loyal to a fault, and I hope he's learned from his mistakes this time around.
Yeah, I would hope so too. But that's the ultimate test of an owner, right? Are they willing, I guess, to listen? And I'm not going to fault him necessarily one way or another, because there's a reason why he owns an NFL team and I don't, and is making decisions now in over 10 years in this position. But again, to me, and yeah, going back to my time covering the team before, there has just never been a legitimate house cleaning. There's always been some form of carryover from the coaching staff to the personnel staff, and scouting obviously is a little bit different, but in terms of actual decision makers in the personnel department to coaching staff and anywhere in between, there's never been a hard reset. And I mean, it's hard to say that there's just that one link or something that stays around, right? That the stink that stays there. But sometimes the franchise needs new energy, and it's hard to get full-blown new energy and a team to buy into that unless you really commit to a full measure. And I think that's really all that can be done at this point.
Zach, final question. We got 60 seconds to go. Ben Johnson's the name everybody's talking about. I'm personally a Liam Cohen fan. Would not mind a Joe Brady, or even maybe look at a Cliff Kingsbury, somebody like that. Is that the direction you think they would go, a young offensive mind?
I could definitely see it. I also wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they went with someone that isn't a young offensive mind. Maybe a defensive coach like, I know this might irritate fans, Mike Vrabel. Mm-hmm. If they're looking for a real legitimate culture setter, if that's what Shad Khan determines the problem is, then I think he'd probably be near the top of the list. But of course, you have to make the decision based around your quarterback. And I think someone like Liam Cohen or Ben Johnson would make a ton of sense.
Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire. Zach, what can the good folks here in Jacksonville look forward to on the website as we head into the Titans game on Sunday?
I mean, a breakdown of clearly one of the most intriguing games in the NFL this weekend.
Yeah.
It should be fantastic. We're gearing up for what should be a pretty fun offseason.
Yeah, it will be a fun offseason. It should be a very interesting offseason, no question about it. Zach, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we'll talk again soon, man.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, Hacker.
And thank you to Zach Goodall of Jaguars Wire for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark as the Jaguars fall yesterday to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders end a 10-game losing streak and knocking off Jacksonville 19-14. The Jaguars now 3-12 on the year. 2 games to go in the regular season. That's this Sunday against Tennessee, the regular season home finale. And a week from Sunday up in Indianapolis. If the NFL draft were held right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars would have the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. Tennessee, who comes in here on Sunday, would have the 4th pick. So as we talked about there with Zach, obviously no playoff implications on Sunday, but a very, very important game from a draft aspect. Again, Tennessee probably needs a quarterback after benching Will Levis. So if they get one of those top 2 spots, odds are they're going to draft Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. So a win for the Titans would not be good. I mean, let's just be honest. So a win for Jacksonville probably would not be good. So it's an interesting dynamic. Of course, the players are going to want to win and the coaches are going to want to win. We have to say that because it's true. But we're not talking to the players and the coaches. We're talking to you, the Jaguar fans. And the reality is a loss on Sunday for Jacksonville helps you when it comes to the draft. It also helps you because it potentially keeps one of those quarterbacks away from the Tennessee Titans. So we'll get more into that as the week goes on. We certainly spent a lot of time on the Jaguars, also spent a lot of time on the college football playoff. Boy, not a lot of drama, obviously, in the first round. Blowout city as all 4 home teams win. Hopefully the quarterfinals will provide us much more entertainment. We also put a bow on the Florida Gators season, a win on Friday over Tulane. They end on a 4-game winning streak. And Florida's gotten some really good news as of late as 5-star wide receiver Dallas Wilson has officially signed with Florida. And the Gators also kept a couple of offensive linemen in Austin Barber and Jake Slaughter, 2 guys that would have definitely been drafted in the NFL draft. Well, that'll just about do it. It has been a very busy Monday night here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Zach Goodall, Jaguars Wire, part of USA Today. Always appreciate Zach's time with us. Thank you to Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark as we put a bow on the Florida Gators season and talked a little college football playoff. And back in hour number 1, my buddy Dave Campo. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. The former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys joins us each and every week. Well, this is our last broadcast until Christmas. We will be off tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. We will return Friday night, but our last program until Christmas. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, a happy holidays. Certainly spend time with friends, with loved ones. Enjoy yourself. And we will be right back here on Friday to head into a big football weekend with you right here on Hacker After Dark. JJ LaSelva was your producer tonight. JJ, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Monday evening and a fantastic holiday. And we will rejoin you Friday right here on 1010XL beginning at 6 o'clock. Until then, good night and happy holidays, Jacksonville.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by